We know that the goal of the Trump administration is to flood the zone, to overwhelm us, to hide what they're doing amidst all of the news stories. And so each day I consume news and I look at it kind of like a lazy Susan, where I read stuff and then every once in a while I stick my finger on something and stop it. And I think, okay, that's important. I need to talk about that. I felt that way with the Venezuelans being flown to El Salvador. When that happened, I was horrified, absolutely horrified, because of how similar it is to the things that Germans did to immigrants and Jews. And my husband and I actually got into a huge fight that night at the dinner table in front of our children because I was, I'm going to say almost hyperventilating, but close. I mean, I was crashing out. I could not believe I lived in a country that would just fly people to a prison without due process. And my husband was like, chill out. Why are you freaking out? And that made me more mad. And I talked to my son about it. He's 14. And I was like, can you imagine? They're just sitting there. They don't get a phone call. They don't have access to an attorney. How long are they going to be stuck in this prison? Forever? What is their sentence? They don't even have a sentence. They just got sent here. Can you imagine how terrifying that would be? And my son was like, okay. So no, nobody in my family was as upset as I was. I put together the videos that I made at that time to kind of show the progression of this. Initially, my outrage was that Trump sent them, even though there was a court order asking them not to, which I said was an impeachable offense. Then it was that they weren't El Salvadorans, they were Venezuelans being sent to El Salvador without due process. Then I was horrified with the video that they produced. It made me sick. And now Bari Weiss has thrown out the segment of 60 Minutes going over this. Bari Weiss, even though she's a lesbian, is a right-wing propagandist in disguise. And that's why it's so horrifying that she got put in charge of CBS News. But this is one of those stories that I put my finger on and said, this is bad. This is bad. And it's still bad because they're hiding the story from us because it was so bad.
This morning, my husband and I were talking about how ridiculous the tweet is that Donald Trump put out that the Biden pardons aren't valid. And my husband said, what is he trying to cover up? And I've been thinking about it. And if you do a quick Google search of Trump news today, the stories that come up are all about the pardon. But there was two big stories that came out. The second one was that that insurrection act that he's invoked, a court told him he was not allowed to deport people to El Salvador. And he did it anyway, in direct defiance of a court order, which is against the Constitution, which is an impeachable offense. So he is distracting us from that. He puts out this tweet in the middle of the night so that everyone is talking about that instead of the law that he broke. They set the stage for breaking the law, right? J.D. Vance saying that judges can't control the executive branch, which is not true from a Yale attorney. So he's distracting us. Let's look at why. Let's talk about impeachable offenses, shall we? So this is from congress.gov, fake news. The Constitution grants Congress authority to impeach and remove the president, vice president, and other federal civil officers for treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Trump has already committed treason. He has sided with Putin, our sworn enemy. He has also blatantly taken bribes. He did a commercial for Tesla on the White House lawn and then took a $100 million donation. That is a bribe. Other high crimes and misdemeanors, though, what is that exactly? Of particular importance to the understanding of high crimes and misdemeanors, again, this is from congress.gov, to the framers was the roughly contemporaneous British impeachment proceedings of Warren Hastings, the Governor General of India, which were transpiring at the time of the Constitution's formulation and ratification. Hastings was charged with high crimes and misdemeanors, which included corruption and abuse of power. So at the time, the framers were looking around and saying, okay, we don't want you to be able to impeach someone because he's doing something we don't like. It needs to be actual corruption, bad things, right? He also thought impeachment should extend to attempts to subvert the Constitution. This is our framers. Is Trump subverting the Constitution, do you think? I think he is. And then just this definition. The framers narrowed the standard for impeachable conduct as compared to the English experience. Blah, 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 blah. The latter phrase a standard inherited from English practice. Okay, I'm calling Chip Roy my representative and demanding impeachment. He has gone against the judiciary and is subverting the Constitution, along with bribery and treason. Democracy Now! Is answering the question my husband and I had this morning. The people that Trump illegally flew to El Salvador after a court ordered that he not do it. He did it anyway. I think it's impeachable. I'm sure many people agree with me. Were they from El Salvador? Were they El Salvadorans? The answer is no. They were Venezuelans. Now, to racists, Venezuela, El Salvador, who cares, right? But this is not illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants in America waiting for due process in a facility here. This is not El Salvadorans being flown home. This is Venezuelans being held in another country against a court order in America. Are you okay with that? Now, if you do not know about these prisons, Matt Gaetz visited them, and they have offered to take our prisoners, our U.S. citizens, and keep them. And these prisons are horrific. I saw an expose on them. It was probably 60 minutes. I don't remember where it was, but you can find it. Research these prisons and see what Trump is doing to Venezuelan nationals. This is disgusting. This is truly revolting. I don't care how much you hate brown people. Do you think they should get flown to a country that isn't theirs and held in prison without due process because they were here illegally, allegedly? We don't even know because they did not have due process. So they could have been here completely legally. Hell, they could be citizens. We have no idea. There is no way to check. This is what he is doing. This is what is dangerous. I am not overreacting. If you are not concerned, you are underreacting. Okay? Go ahead and go to Starbucks, paint your face, go get your f***ing Botox, do whatever you can to ignore what's happening. Go ahead, enjoy. While you can. The reason he's not allowed to do this is because we are not at war with Venezuela nor El Salvador. That's why we can't just deport people willy-nilly. On Fox's news website, there is a whole video, this produced video of them deporting the Venezuelan gang members, allegedly. We have no way of knowing. Perhaps they are. Deporting them to El Salvador. It has catchy, snappy music, and it's revolting. I'll post it in a minute. Perhaps these are gang members. And if that's the case, deport them to Venezuela. To produce a video for people to enjoy. If you enjoy watching people have their heads shoved down, being treated like animals and shoved into a prison in another country, if you enjoy that, you are a monster. And you elected a monster. And all of us have been telling you that y'all are monsters. And that is why we've cut you out of our lives and why we don't want to know you. It isn't politics. It's that you are a monster, an absolute fucking monster. Yeah. So he's doing it for you and you enjoy it because you're a fucking monster. I'm not saying Venezuelan gangs are okay. I'm not. Throw them out of the country. I don't fucking care. Lock them in a prison in another country without a trial. I'm not okay with that. Have snappy music so that it's entertaining for the disgusting people who watch Fox News. Ew. So, yeah. I don't know if we're going to come back from this because of how great my disgust and the disgust of every decent human being in America is for you people. So all of you who watch this video, go watch it. I dare you. If you get a tiny bit of joy watching people's pain, the injustice of the fact that all of these people. I didn't see a trial. Did you? Will tell you just how fucking messed up you are. And you need to get help. I'm sure people say, I need to get help. I've gotten it. I've been to therapy. I don't rejoice in the pain of others, but you do.
César Eliseo Sortomala.
El Salvador's president put out a tweet that said, "Too late, smiley face," because the planes were already there when the order came through, allegedly. And then I went to go find the original source, and I saw people saying, liberals are whining about gangsters being deported. And it's like, I don't know that they were gangsters. I didn't see a trial, and I don't believe anything that Donald Trump or his administration says. I have issue with people's civil rights being violated in my country because I could be next, right? That's the issue. And I saw a poll where like 46% still support the job he's doing or something like that, the NBC poll. And I just felt so demoralized. Like, it's just ridiculous to me how stupid our country is. And then I think, well, they've been suppressing our education for decades, so you can't blame them for how stupid they are, and they can't even read. When I get really overwhelmed, I'm a highly productive person, and I give myself time to check out when I get overwhelmed. I'm going to take a nap because I'm so, demoralized today. But I just thought I'd review this. I have several videos on this, but this is what a KGB operative said that the KGB, what Russia does to us, what their plan has been for us since post-World War II. It's called ideological subversion, and there's 4 steps. He said that the first step's demoralization. By 1984, he said that this step was largely done. And this is basically making a whole country not like being American and to just feel like America's not working for them, more or less. Step 2 is destabilization, 2 to 5 years. I think that Trump has done this very well. There's a reason Putin wanted him in power and why Russia interfered in our elections. This third step, I think we're in the middle of, up to 6 weeks of a crisis period. And then finally, normalization, when our democracy is gone and we're in an autocracy and we just kind of go along with it because we're uneducated, illiterate, stupid sheep. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to say, fuck it all, you bunch of ignorant hillbillies. I cannot believe I'm an American with all of you people. And then I'm going to take a nap. And I bet I will feel better when I wake up. And thank God I am on spring break with my children and have nothing to do, and I can go lay in bed and try to regather my strength to live in this fucking shit show of a country. The ultimate goal of the Russians, by the way, was to brainwash us and make it so that even if we had tons of information, people wouldn't know truth.